Half a day, it's Pete Santos again, and I'm going to make a video today about Ika and Chenchuli, as well as other types of donation or contribution in the Chamorro tradition. And the reason why is because a couple of days ago, a pari of mine says, "Hey, Par, what's the difference between Ika and Chenchuli?" And I gave him a quick answer that, Ika is specifically for death. It's not. It's a form of Chenchuli. You can say it's Chenchuli, but it's specifically a form of Chenchuli for death only. So even if the person is having a first anniversary rosary or fifth anniversary rosary, doesn't matter. When you give money, it's not Ika anymore. That's Chenchuli. But Ika is also just money. You only Ika money, not anything else. Chenchuli can be other things, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to talk in depth about what I come to understand Ika is. So Ika is not a loan, right? And it's based on two things. It's based on your ability to give, your level of wealth, and your affection for either the person that died or the person that survives, the family that's surviving, right? So even if you're rich, you might only give $20 if you didn't really care about that person, or if you're not that rich but you really cared for that person, you might give $1,000, right? So Ika is a function of your ability to give and your level of affection, and it's not a loan, right? And there's a case that happened up in Saipan where one first cousin gave to his other first cousin because the father died, gave $5,000, right? And then a couple years later, the guy that gave the Ika, his father died. And so the first cousin only gave back 3,000 instead of 5,000. So they actually went to court, and he sued him for the $2,000, because when person B's father died, right? Person A gave 5,000, and then when person A's father died, person B only gave 3,000. So he took it to small claims court to try to get the 2,000, and the judge said, "No, that's not how Ika works. It's a function of your ability to give and your level of affection, right? That's not how. It's not a loan. Put it that way." Even if the guy could have gave 20,000 and he only gave 3,000, then that's it. He doesn't have to give at all, actually. But that's how Ika is. It's about how much you're able to give and how much you're willing to give, right? And so what is Chenchuli? Chenchuli is a more generic, more broad term for a donation to an event, right? So Chenchuli could be money. Chenchuli could be something to help out with the party. It doesn't even have to be something physical. If you loan chairs and a canopy, or if you're always there to clean up and set up, then that could be your Chenchuli. There was a family out in Washington that always showed up to events, and I feel bad because a lot of the Chamorros were talking about them that they never put anything out on the table, but they were always there early and helped setting up, and then they were there. They stayed afterwards and cleaned. I said, that's I rather that kind of Chenchuli than extra 5 more extra pies that's going to go to the trash. The fact that they stayed behind and helped and wash dishes and things like that. That's a form of Chenchuli, and that should not be depreciated, because it is very, for me, I'd rather have that kind of assistance. So now let's talk about Tarea. Tarea is something that you're assigned. So it's not really Chenchuli once they Tarea you. So if they Tarea you 10 gallons of iced tea and 5 cases of water, then that's not Chenchuli anymore, because that means you're part of the family or the group that is putting on the event, and you're obligated because that's your tarea. Whoever's organizing the event, whoever's the head of the family, if they tarea you, then that's your assignment. That's an assignment already. It's not Chenchuli anymore, right? And then sometimes people will generically and colloquially use the word Lakngus, right? I found Lakngus gilamasa. What did you put out on the table? Oh, shetin tataga, right? So that's your Lakngus for the lamasa. That's just it's not, it doesn't really fit in it could be a tereya, it could be Chenchuli, whatever, but that's something they use also a word to refer to something. And then there's another sort of situation in dealing with collection of money. So this situation is called Båka or Ambos. There's a difference, and I got a couple stories about that. So Ambos is when you collect money for something. Like, let's say you guys want to buy a car for your brother, or maybe even a wheelchair, and the family all pitches in. That's Ambos. Or even if you're going to Chenchuli, and the brothers and sisters want to make one contribution to the family of the deceased, and they put all their money together, they call that Ambos. That's just collecting your money and putting it together, right? And so that can even be used in a situation where you rent out the hotel or something for a wedding or whatever, and everybody's asked to give, $2,000. So man ambos na todo y familia. They put their money together to pay for something big. And then there's the situation of Båka, and I got a funny story about one of my uncles who's a cockfighter. He goes, "Boy, befa lag gajera, maila data fan Båka. Leko kwanto uncle nisita. Linga maila 200, malaka 200." And senior. So I give him the $200, and then he goes to the cockfight, and then the next morning he tells me, "Lana boy, di malas it. Man di malas, tadza, ni hafafat." So that's Båka. You give to someone who's gambling to combine the bet, and if the bet loses, you don't get anything back, right? That's how bets work. So on the other hand, if you win, then you should be able to get the percentage back. So let's say it's a $500 bet, you put in 200, and then the winning is 10,000, right? So if you put in 200, that's what, 40% of the bet. So 40% of 10,000 should be $4,000. That should be what you get, right? But so my uncle again, a couple weeks later, he goes, "Maila boy, jatafan Båka talo." Like, "Kwanto?" Then yeah, 200 talo ang ginsina. So I gave him the 200. So this time he won. And the next morning he gives me $200. He goes, "Here boy, estigate 200 new ads how?" Like, "What? No. Lana pikaru. Man pikaru sti manamkus guanabay." So when he lost, it's Båka. When he wins, it's Adzao. So he just give me back my 200. I said, "No more. I'm never gonna Båka with this guy anymore." So that's the difference between Båka and Ambos. So these are just what I understood growing up. Different people may have different experiences or different understanding of Ika and Chenchuli, Tarea, Lakngus, Båka, Ambos. But I'm making this video just to share what I understand and what I know so that people can learn from it, because not a lot of people, understand what these things are anymore, the differences and the situations or the context that they would be used. So just trying to capture what I understood growing up, what I experienced. And so Hopefully this helps people. If your understanding or your experience is different, then share it in the comments. And if you have additional information that you like to share, put it in the comments, and that way people can see this and read the comments and learn. All right. So until the next video, have a great day, everybody.